Hello, this is Palico Patch and welcome back to more of Sunless Sea Zubmariner, and you've hit me in a melancholy state. I've had a few days away from the game since recording the last episode, which I did record in bulk. I think I recorded 4 of those on the trot, so I've spent a few days away, and I am awfully disappointed with how it ended up with me dying. And I think it's a case of me biting off more than I could have chewed on at the time, and I got a little bit cocksure and sure-headed and overconfident. And I do think if I'd have played it quite sensibly, I probably maybe might have taken at least one of those ships down. But the fact that there were 2, I couldn't outrun them. I had no chance. So it was interesting playing it with the extra iron. I'm interested to see how this is going to go through now we have the extra hearts. Simply because I want to see how much it affects me just doing general shooting, having just standard iron. But I think the plan is, with the good old Reverend here, is to work on getting the iron up as quickly as possible. So we have lots of hearts, lots of iron, and hopefully mirrors and pages and veils will follow on suit on top of that. So what are we doing this time around? Well, I think we're going to aim at, in the next couple of episodes, just going around the existing ports, getting as much money as we can, and getting ourselves back to roughly where we were as far as the actual ship makeup is, with the better engine and the better guns. And then hopefully we can start exploring a little bit further out there and see what's going on. Maybe, he says, even checking out Zubmariner, the DLC. Or a submarine, I guess, is how any normal person would say it. So we shall look into that. In fact, let's have a quick gander now. What is inquired of us? Right, welcome, delicious friend. How does it work? The tutorial branch will tell you how to make the most of your submarine. That's great. Yeah, that's no good. How to acquire a submarine. Her Majesty's Admiralty has sworn off submarine exploration. However, you've heard tales of unofficial research into submarine travel being conducted in her distant colony. Right. What is said distant colony? Travel to the southern coast and follow it east to find Port Canelian. There you will learn how to convert your ship into a submarine. Be sure you are prepared for the journey. Right, so I guess we're going to Port Canelian. But first things first, I think we should buy a few more. What's the word I'm looking for? Ding! Thank you. What's the word I'm looking for? Supplies! That's the word I'm looking for. What do we have? We've got 9 fuel, 5 supplies. So if we buy, say if we buy 9 of those, that'll leave us 30 and 12. I think that's a good split. We've sold our advice for captains. Anything else we should know about? Not really. Yeah, we've died once. Boo. With a fallen priest. And yeah, where do we need to go? Gator's Morn. We can do Gator's Morn. I think we know what Gator's Morn is. Oh, we're gonna go to Vendor Blight as well. Or is it Vendor Bite? Vendor Blight? I don't know. I should pay more attention to these things. That's why I die a lot. I don't pay attention. Do we know where Gator's Morn is? Yes, we do. Haha. In fact, Vendor Bite. We'll go to or was it Withering? No, it's Vendor Bite, isn't it? It is Vendor Bite we need to go to. I think what we'll do is we'll loop up to Vendor Bite, down to Pigmote, after hitting, the usual Hunter's Keep. Come down to Salt Lions, Shepherdars, Abbey Rock, Station 3, underneath Gator's Morn, and around. I think that's doable with our fuel. I think. And we'll get a fair few port reports on the way. Hopefully I'll put a few more stories. I might repeat a few of them. If it's something I've read before and it goes into detail, I'll just click over it. But if it's something new, then we will look into it. What was it that you wanted to do, madame, with the bugs in the eyes? You are... Can we just ask her? King Eater's castle can be found to the far southeast of Underzee. Oh yeah, she wants to go there before she dies. Yeah, fine, okay. But what do you give me? Veils. I'm not too fussed by veils. So, well, let's crack on. Should we start this again? Let's hope it goes better this time, eh? Eh? So yes, as I said, the next 2 episodes might be a little slow, just as we make ourselves back up, and that's why I didn't want to go with playing the Iron person again, because it just means we're playing exactly the same game we played last time, and it would definitely seem to be the best way of going about it was to keep the existing map rather than anything else. We hadn't earned anything else to keep, so it seemed a bit pointless, really. So I figured playing through each different character we can play with, like the Reverend here, would be a good way of making it all a little bit different. At least up to the point where there's something that's worth keeping over just the charted map. The other thing which is interesting is that you don't get to keep the fragments for finding these new places with this person. So you do, or you don't, should I say, gain secrets quickly. And therefore it would appear that overall it's a bad thing to stay on the same map for multiple playthroughs, because you're just not getting the secrets and able to upgrade your people or your attributes any quicker. So anyway, enough jibber jabbering. Let's crack on. What we're going to do, I think we better spy first. What's that modest challenge? Veils 77%. Should we get our port report first? That doesn't change, so we won't worry about that. Right, let's spy. We've succeeded, so no need to say that again. That's fine. We've got to present ourselves. Who do we usually eat with? Let's go with Lucy. She's sunny, restless, and prone to giggles. We need cheering up. This is Sunless Sea. It's a bloody miserable place to live. Lucy leans over and whispers to you confidentially. Yes. A complex story about a butler, a pig, and an inheritance. You don't follow all the details of the plot, but somehow the pig ends up in an attic and the butler in a vicar's bed. Ooh. Candles flicker, dishes enter and leave, and the wind butts gently at the window panes. By the time the plum pudding arrives, you're as cheerful as you've been in months. See? That's what you need. You need someone to give you an up and up, to cheer you up, to get you going. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We've lost our hunger, we've gained a supply, which is awesome. And we've got Stone's attention, which is the lesser, supposedly, of the... Have we got any news? We do. I don't think I want to waste it here. Which is the lesser evil god, I believe. Or gods, should I say. Yeah, lesser evil of the gods. Yeah, out of the 3. I think Stone is the least sort of punishing. I know Salt's a bit of a bitch. Or has been to me anyway, in the past. Ah, bats, right, I want to test this out. So, let's see how many strikes it takes now. So I'm get into range. Come on now, you want my test. They see me. So we hit for 10 now. Before, I believe we were hitting for about 14 straight off. So that's a definite drop. Not a significant drop. I expected it to be lower, to be honest with you. So that's not so bad. Do we gather up corpses? It's not supplies though, is it? It just takes off the hunger here. What's our terror? Yeah, as soon as we're struggling with supplies, we'll do that. Oh, you do get supplies. My bad. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Right, so. Oh, and a fog bank has enveloped us. Lovely. So up to Venderbite next, just to get rid of the tomb colonist. Maybe something interesting will happen along the way. And then that will leave us with going eastwards. Yes. I think it's eastwards, isn't it? Yeah, Pigmote. With the rats and the guinea pigs. I think this time round we're going to go with the rats. Because, why not? We've done the guinea pigs. Let's do the rats this time round. Hornman stag? I believe that's the sound of a stag. At least that's what men behaving badly told me. It's a good... just in case you're not English and you don't get that reference. Oh, more bats. It was a... Come on now. You coming to me? No. It's a comedy set in the early 90s, starring two guys living together in their late 20s, early 30s. And basically just acting like kids. It was very good. It was very good. Your passenger stands somebody by the rail. Salt sent me a dream, she insists. You must find my father. Okay. Salt tells me that you'll find my father in the belly of a monstrous eel. Gods never lie. Gods never lie? That seems optimistic. But if she's right, she'll reward you for her father's return. Open a monstrous eel. Okay, well, at least she didn't fall over the side, I suppose, which is good. Right, so can we do anything here? Well, we can get our port report, that's for sure. Let's do that. I'm not going to bother reading that. We've done that bit. I'm also going to visit the first curator. Now, we know what he wants. So, again, I'm not going to bore you with this. It's the colours. We didn't get any of the colours last time, so we'll see how far that goes. And let's explore. This is when it could get interesting. Here they favour candlelight over gaslight. We've done that bit. In a wide space behind the hollow temple, you happen across a step platform of sorts. 4 statues guard it, marked with glyphs, all but lost to time and idle vandalism. They look a little like the glyphs that decorate the Echo Bazaar in London, though. At the heart of the platform is a long-filled well shaft too. You poke about briefly, but something in the place makes you uneasy. A frost moth, the size of a farmer's hand, flutters down to perch on the well's edge. Another, a third. You retreat. Well, we got some fragments. A little bit of terror. Not too fussed about the terror right now. It's not something I think we need to worry about. Oh, we could sell our recent news. Oh, I don't think there's much need to. A monstrous almanac. 1,000, wow. Yep, we're done. You going to give us another go? Eh, what? I'm not going too far out of my way because of fuel and all that. No, okay, it's fine by me. So yeah, men behaving badly. Starring a guy called Martin Clunes. Now, again, I'm not sure how far British TV spreads around the world, so you may or may not have heard of this next programme. He's recently been in something called Doc Martin, where he plays a doctor in a Cornish village, where he's, I believe he was scared of blood initially, and that's why he moved away, because he couldn't handle the hectic scene of being a doctor in the city. And this year, coincidentally, I went to the place where this was filmed. I think it's called Port Isaac, down in Cornwall. I'm a big fan of Cornwall. Really love going down there. To the point where me and the girlfriend were talking this after we've been on our holiday this year. We think we've killed it off a little. We've done it so much over the past few years. We are just sort of revisiting places. And although there are certain places which I would happily visit every year down there, for instance, Land's End. I love Land's End. Another little abstract story to tell you. I like walking, and I like walking down Land's End, going across the dramatic not seafront, it's like coastline. That's the better word for it. And this year we walked off the beaten track a little. There's this massive cove which we thought we were going to have a look in, and as we looked down there was a wrecked tanker, and it was so massive, and it was only the back half of the tanker, and you wouldn't have noticed it unless you walked over. And we started looking, and going ooh and ah and all that, and then other people joined us, and then we ended up having about 12 people all standing around just having a chat about it and what could have possibly happened, and why, more importantly, it hadn't been cleaned up. That was the thing. Us British, why haven't we cleaned up this mess that's down here? Yeah, can't beat it. Right, so here we are on a lonely desert beach. Right, we've done all this as far as up to choosing who we want to choose, so I'm going to skip past all this. We are going to speak to them just to make it all fairsies, but we're not going to see that much further. I've had more than enough. I know who to choose. I'm going to go with the chief engineer, the rat, as it were. He seemed grumpy but honest. Also, I knew all too well what rat-made weapons can do. I extended a finger to the chief engineer, who shook it grimly. The Sensen Shao hissed and chattered her teeth in disgust, but kept her distance. You've made the right choice, said the chief engineer. Let me show you around. And now we've got fuel and supplies. Lovely. Never want to turn that down. The chief engineer led me to the northern side of the island, skirting the chicken woods. We passed through a number of what can only be termed checkpoints, as fierce-eyed rats shouldered their derringers and saluted the chief engineer. Soon we Soon we come upon a small colony, smaller than some of the infestations I had encountered in London flats. Perhaps only 50 Rattus Faber altogether, working diligently to fortify their side of the island. The first thing I noticed was a brilliant light, beaming out from a stump of chicken wood about 6 feet high. It bathed the whole settlement in a clean blue glow, and was almost too bright to look at. By its light I could see several raised mounds of earth, suggesting shallow tunnels. An efficient fishing operation was set out up by the water, an albino rat mending nets, while others stabbed and sharpened sticks into the waves. Further inland was a barracks where a sergeant barked drills at a small squadron of fighters. My arrival drew attention, and several rats paused in their work to look at me curiously. "Welcome to Marinia," said the chief engineer, voice warm with pride. "It's not much to look at now, but it will be once we've rousted the cavies. Take a stroll around while I summon the war council." With that, he vanished into one of the mounds and left me to explore. Ooh, right, we're going to have a look around again. So we have the barracks. Let's start there. That's where all the action goes on. The drill sergeant appeared to be sizing me up. With a few rats around here really all she had to launch an attack? We were fighting impressive odds. I approached the drill sergeant and went so far as to salute her, which earned me a grunt of satisfaction. The sergeant dismissed her troops and offered me a bit of chickenwood jerky to gnaw on. "There's more of us below ground," she explained, "but not enough. The caves are bigger and there's more of them. We're better with weapons, but haven't got the stuff to make them with. Most of us came here as stowaways and brought nothing but food, tools and the fur on our backs. We can fish and we nibble the chickenwoods, but we can't make guns out of trees. The cavies came with their own steamer and seem to have endless supplies. We raid them sometimes, but there's so few of us, and we can never hold on to territory gained for long. But that's of no consequence. All we want is to be left in peace to build our republic, and the Rad Star," she added thoughtfully, after a moment. "Of course, we want that too." Oh dear. Okay, so it's all about the Rad Star, or this shining light anyway. Let's take a look at the Rad Star itself. An excitable-looking rat was peering at it through smoky goggles, twitching her whiskers and making notes on what appeared to be real paper. Blue as sapphire, but endlessly more brilliant. "It's not a star, of course. Not really. But try explaining that to the others. The chief engineer doesn't want me working too hard to convince them. Says this is better for morale. And just look at it. Look!" She offered me her goggles. I managed to work them over just enough of one of my eyes to see the truth of what she was studying. It was scintillac, but unlike any I'd seen before. Blue as a sapphire, but more brilliant. Something about the clarity of its colour was tremendously soothing. The chief science officer tittered with pleasure as I handed her goggles back. Those who've been to the cavey side of the island and lived to tell of it say that there's plenty of glow there, plenty of bright in the water all around, but nothing like this. We took this from the island's centre, Mount Ararat. Only it's not a mountain, of course, any more than this is a star. It's hollow, there's sweet water inside and coral crawling up all the walls of it, but nothing that glows save this. It's ours now, and no one can take it from us. Well, let's have a look down the beach, and I suppose. Whoever heard of a rat mending a net? Who'd have thunk it? Where the green billows played. An albino rat smiled up at me from his mending work, looking dainty and a little shy. Chickenwood floats, especially when it's dried out and sealed, so we're able to paddle out a bit and cast our nets. We come up with all sorts of things. Blind fish, crabs, sometimes a chunk of broken tentacle. But the fishing would never be so good without the Rad Star, he beamed. I think it's only draws good fish and keeps the scary ones at bay. I know the chief science officer doesn't believe it, but I do. That light is our livelihood. It does seem that's all it's going for them. So, I finished my exploration. The bells of War Council rang. I was summoned. Ding dong. The chief engineer emerged from underground with a motley assortment of other rats. He introduced them as weapons experts, strategists, and field commanders. "So you're going to help us beat the cavies," he said. A hard edge to his voice. But how exactly? I had nothing to offer but my advice. I offered my strategic assistance. 38%, that's not bad. We engineered a distraction that the LBs could use to plunder the cavey ship and turn the tide in their favour. Or I determined to take the lead. That's not much worse, actually. I had a ship, I had cannons. We would steer her to the southern side of the island to have at those uppity animals. 37 to 38. See, last time we did taking the lead because we had the iron, which we don't have this time. So do we give Vales a go? It's a percent more. If we're talking pure numbers, that's not... Well, it's not a lot, but it's definitely more than the iron. So let's give it a whirl. We engineered a distraction. Yes, yes, yes. We failed. Okay. We pretended to take a rat hostage and approached the caves as with a gift, demanding an audience with the seneschal. A battalion encircled us almost immediately. Their iron halberds clanked as they purred and chattered amongst themselves. Well, well, said the seneschal, regarding me with what I supposed to be a smile. A reversal of fortune? How unlikely. I suppose you will have no trouble slitting this savage's throat on our behalf. My fraction of a moment's hesitation was all the confirmation the seneschal needed. See to the ship, she snapped, and half the party scurried to intercept the rats skulking aboard it, screaming war cries that curdled my blood. As for you, said the seneschal sweetly, thank you very kindly for your gift. I assure you it is most graciously received. More swiftly than I would have thought possible, the seneschal leapt onto the rat, and I held bound and sank her incisors into its chest. I escaped my life, but found myself unable to forget how the rat screamed and writhed, while the seneschal raised her face to me again, his liver gleaming obscenely in her mouth. Wow, that was dark. Okay, right, so we can do it again. You see, on the law of averages, we should do this within 3. So let's try again. We failed. Again. Right, we succeeded. I dressed up one of my sailors in a messy, shabby cloth smeared with prisoner's honey and instructed him to roll around in the black earth of the island. Soon we had a glorious mud monster descend thrashing through the chicken woods towards the caves. The distraction worked perfectly. The cavies diverted their force towards our makeshift beast, leaving the rats with very little opposition as they plundered the grounded ship. They returned triumphant, as did my sailor, laughing, having led the cavies a merry chase. Within a few hours, the rats' diligence had resulted in the building of a remarkable cache of weapons with which they successfully routed their enemy. The rats, ever egalitarian, shared their spoils in addition to the promised food and fuel. Yeah. Hail, Marinia! And, yeah, that's fine. Occurrence, Pigmote is fine. Occurrence, Pigmote, yes. 4 parabola linen. Oh, a little bit of scintillac, nice. And 10 fuel. Wow! We're good on fuel. Okay. Right, so the House of Cavey had fallen. Marinia was triumphant. All that remained were the celebrations and the continuation of our voyage, of course. How we feasted long into the night. Then I invited one of the raiders, Faber, to join us. After all, what's a ship without a few rats? Wasn't that like a thing you could use to repair your ship? Let's do it. Why not? The chief engineer couldn't leave his colony, but he relayed my request to his people. The albino rat I saw mending nets shyly stepped forward. I'm good at fixing things, he said, earnestly, and I'd like to see more of the world. I waited for him to gather up some effects and say goodbye to his family before accompanying him on board. Oh, that's nice. Out of anyone who could have joined, I'm glad he came. He seems nice. So we can intercede on behalf of the cavies. They were crushed, defeated, and I could see their spirits broken without the light of the rat star to guide them. They needed an advocate. No! I'll tell you what, they are vicious. Ripping out a rat's liver and just tucking down on it in front of me. Screw those guys. They can live in abject poverty for all I care. So I guess the wide dark sea beckoned for us. We had eaten our fill and our business was concluded. It was time to continue our voyage and see what other wonders and terrors still awaited us. There, you finish your diary entry and the final dregs of the rat's surprisingly good wine. They line up to salute you as you leave the victory banquet, escorting you to your ship through the foundations of their new republic. Well, there you go. A new nation has been founded. Hail, Marinia! I think we're done here though, aren't we? Yep. That'll be that. Well, before we carry on, we need to assign albino tinker. Oh, what do you got? +2 veils. We lose a heart. Well, we got plenty of hearts, so yeah, you can come on out. Comatose ferret. If I could sell you, I would. If I could eat you, I would. So, a couple of extra veils. Doesn't go amiss. That was all good in the hood. Where are we going now? We're going down to the salt lines. As it stands, we are supremely okay for fuel. It's supplies which we need to keep an eye on. So, we'll see how it goes. Not too worried. That was very good for fuel. And fuel is the one which runs out generally first. A baked breeze rises, the improbable scent of stone out of some distant desert. You are close to the salt layers. That was desert, not dessert. Although it would be very nice if you could smell dessert whilst on the sea. I'm sure most sailors would appreciate that over, you know, rotting fish guts and the like. Lots of seagull poo as well. Lots of seagull poo. Right, here we are. So we'll pop in here very quickly. Carry on. Oh, there's a ship down there. Looked like a big one. I'm going to be staying away from ships for the time being. Unless it's one of those pinnaces. The pinnaces are okay. Right, so salt lion. What can we do here? Just a port report. It's all good in the hood. I'm sure that's it. That's definitely it. Right, on to the next. So if we go down to Shepherd Isles. I think what we'll do actually, we'll go down to Shepherd Isles. Come across here to clear this bit. Onto Gators Morn. Do what we need to do for the Admiralty. Then we'll loop back around. Hit Station 3. We could possibly hit Fathom King's Hold, the Iron Republic and Abbey Rock on the way back up. Kamayan Canal. It's all doable, really. It's all doable. Nice big loop. But I digress. We need to actually do it first. Planning's all well and good, but you never quite know what's going to happen once you set out. Now, in the few goes I have had on this, I get the feeling it's a bit like the Curious Expedition, where the game will just suddenly snap on you, and that's it. You know, it's big. It's big. What is it? Pirate frigate. It's not that big, but that will take 10 shots, and I don't feel confident enough yet to take that on. I'm still a little bit weary after the last encounter, and it's a big ship. I don't know if you can tell whether they've got guns on the back or not just by looking at them. I'm pretty sure I didn't see guns on the back of those. What the hell was it called again? The Iron Republic ships, but they definitely fire backwards. So we will be watching what goes on that time round. But oh, are you a little one? You're a little one. We'll take you on. Why not? It'd be silly not to, really. Can we stay around the back? Just need to keep turning. Slow down. Shoot. Back up again. Yeah, if we stay on his tail, we should be okay. I've seen that this is a tried and tested way of going about things, so we should be okay as long as we keep this up on the little ones. Still haven't quite got over the fact that that jellyfish went through the island to get at me before, but never mind. Right, so what cash do you have for me? A firkin of prisoner's honey. This is what they call prisoner's honey, wrung by the lamplighted bee from the exile's rose. I wonder who made up all these names, remarks able seaman Cargit. Someone who has read a sight too many books, I'm thinking. That's right, Mr. Illiterate. So how's that terror doing? 41. That's not so bad. And here we are. Very nice. Not sure what happens in Shepherd Isles, can't remember. I don't think a lot happens, if I remember rightly. An electric shiver to the air, storm is watching, the sailors would say. Right, Shepherd Isles. Bonjour. Oh, right, okay, so there's a few things we can do. Port report will be the first, always. So, Tales of the Standing Stones, Tales of the Three Greys, Tales of Thornwell Croft. Now, if I remember rightly, I think it was Standing Stones we went before, and we said we'd work our way down. So let's start at the bottom and work our way up this time. Tales of Thornwell Croft. What about the isle to the north, the one that isn't bridged? We did have a bridge, but the ship of lights came through here once. Hull of shining brass, lamps like stars. All those damned on deck at once. Couldn't tell if they were laughing or screaming. Ploughed through the bridge and kept on going. Everyone who tries to rebuild it bursts into flames. So we don't try to rebuild it anymore. Well, that's fair enough. You know, I don't think I'd be too happy to rebuild a ship if it was a chance I was going to be set alight. You know, it's not the best way of going about things. Oh, hang on, easy tiger. It's pressing it too hard on the E key. That is. Yeah, you know, if I were to spontaneously combust because I decided I wanted to bridge two islands together, then I think I'd probably say no. You know, it seems only sensible. Maybe one would try and look into why you were going to be satellite if you did decide to take on such an engineering project. But, you know, again, who knows in this place? Who knows? Now, I'm sending out a Z back, so I just want to see what's in this black square. Nothing, supposedly. One thing I've learned about in this game is that things can hide very well. Ah, but not here. Oh. A crack pirate frigate. We're definitely not taking a new one. Go away. No. You don't see me. So yeah, it might not be worth us going too far south until we actually have better guns at the very least. We can always try and zip away by overpowering our engines, but again, the luck doesn't seem to be on my side when it comes to stuff like that. Born Vader's pillar. Makes you wonder what they're building on them. There's definitely no port there. Can I get underneath this bridge, or am I about to crash into it? It looks low. It looks like a gangplank. But I suppose it is going from one high area of Gaidersmorn to another. So we should be okay, he says. Yeah, that's fine. There we be. There we be. Gaidersmorn. Right, so. Explore the Morn. Right. So. I can pay for information, which is 5 echo. Can I sell anything? Ah, I can sell the prisoner's honey. That is very convenient. Let's do that. Nice. Okay. So we can now pay to get the decent commission, I believe. Can I get a port report first? Gather intelligence. Is that my port report? A tough challenge. Let's do this. I failed. But I did get a port report. I've lost a crew though. You and one of your most villainous looking sailors join a dice game. Villainous looking. But you know for a fact that she tithes to charity and has a delightful singing voice. The topic turns promisingly to pillage and ambush, but your Zayla is a little too forward with her questions. There is a scuffle and a stabbing. You escape. She does not. Ah, I am going to miss her delightful singing voice, that's for sure. But we got a port report out of it, so I suppose it all equals up in some kind of twisted way. Let's now... Well, we'll do the pirate poet. Again, I'm sure we've done this already. Some say she's a clayman who freed herself with the power of verse. Possible. Others insist that she's the personal muse of the king with the 100 hearts. Unlikely. One claims she sails on a living ship made of the still screaming skulls of her victims. More sober voices mutter that no, it's just an Alsaeus class vessel. Yeah, we've definitely read that before. Right, so let's pay for info, because that's surely the better info to have. Admiralty sent you? Price has gone up. It's not safe here. You'll pay the difference, won't ye? Yuri, a generous soul. You'll have your reward on the other side of the river one day. And here's a little reward for now. Good sailing to ye. Right, so we've got our commission, which is awesome. Oh, strategic information. Very nice. Very nice. Right, so what to do now? Well, explore the Morn, I guess. Let's see what happens. There's a surprising quantity of actual landscape on the Morn. It's vertical, admittedly, but once you find the best paths and urchin roads, you can traverse it as you would a rocky moor, with an additional throatful of lurching terror. Oh! You turn, and there's a long, lank, brown man at your shoulder. Listen, he says, I have a story for you. Aye! Something about the grey beard compels your attention. Leave down the back. If once he catches your eye, you'll be lost. Turn the situations around. No, I have stories for you. Well, we've got a Z story. We've got no tales of terror. Looks like my cook. But it looks like he can actually form sentences, so it can't be my cook. Let's listen. We might get something out of it. Oh, we've got a tale of terror. A rambling tale. His story has a wedding full of murders and a leafless forest, and a vast serpent which eats souls. Ugh. The tale winds on and on, like the serpent, until you are lost in the dizzy tours of its sinister ships and its glamorous corpses. You nod awake. He's gone. But not, it seems, before searching your pockets for small change. Son of a bitch! Well, we've got to tell a terror out of it, I suppose. We've lost 2 more echo. They're all thieving bastards around here. Can I do that? No. Yeah, I think we're done here. Don't think I need to sell anything. Definitely nothing to buy. So, yeah, I think that be it for this episode. So we've got the info we need for the Admiralty, so we can start making our way back in the next one. Go through a few more ports we've seen. Go get the monies. Hopefully it's worth a little bit of moolah. Maybe upgrade the ship a little. And start looking for how the hell we get a submarine. It would appear we're going to have to find a port. We don't know where that port is right now. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm sure everything will work out lovely. Or we'll get teared apart by a massive sea creature. Either way, it's a story. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you for watching. As always, a like is appreciated. And I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy.